Thank you, everybody, for coming to our symposium. I'm very excited to have all of you here. We have people from all over the world. Really excited that you set aside time to join us for this International Astronomical Union Symposium, Advancing the Search for Technosignatures. I hope this is going to be a really fun week, a really thought-provoking week. Hopefully you meet some new collaborators, get some new ideas. And so before we start the scientific program, I'm just going to give a bit of an overview of the week ahead and just some of the things that you can expect. So to start with, yes, this is number 404. We did not pick this number. As far as I know, this was purely coincidental, or perhaps someone at the IAU has a sense of humor and never told us about it. IAU symposia are numbered sequentially. We just happened to be number 404, but hey, it's very fitting, and I certainly got a lot of questions about that. So with this in mind, we haven't found any technosignatures yet, but we're looking. And you know, the point of this this gathering and this scientific enterprise is recognizing that here on Earth, we have this thing called life, this thing, you know, biology. But some of that biology, you know, mostly humans, have made this thing called technology, and that can manifest as uniquely detectable signatures of the technology. So just like astrobiology is engaged in the search for remotely detectable evidence of life, biosignatures, we can think about another kind of biosignature that life might make, namely technosignatures. And there might be unique properties, perhaps less ambiguous properties of those technosignatures that might reveal the presence of life if we were to find that on an exoplanet. And so here's just a schematic illustration showing you can have anything from atmospheric pollutants that would show, you know, absorption spectra. You could have, laser, other, city lights, showing sodium or other emission spectra. You could have radio emission, satellites, all kinds of things that we have going on today. And of course, projections of the future can give us ideas for what technology might look for. And so this is the start of how we go about the scientific search for technosignatures. So this is the very first all online IAU symposium. So starting in 2026, there's 9 symposia that they usually do on non-general assembly years. And so starting 2026, one of the 9 was fully online. We put in a proposal and was accepted to run this meeting. I think for a topic like technosignatures, it's especially fitting just because a lot of people are interested in the topic, but it's very difficult to make this a primary research area. It's often very difficult to just get any funding at all. And so to have sort of a low barrier to entry, at least we hope, event that can engage people in thinking about technosignature science, we hope will be really valuable for you. And so this is a partnership. This is an International Astronomical Union Symposium. It is hosted by us at Blue Marble Space Institute of Science. We're a nonprofit organization based in the US. We have affiliates all over the world. And we are very accustomed to operating in the online space. And so this seemed like a perfect fit for us when we saw the call for online symposia. Now, this is not the first time that the IAU has engaged in technosignatures or SETI. Just a couple years ago, there's several of us, myself and Martin Dominic on the organizing committee, George Profitiliotis, and I know a number of other attendees here were at the Kavli IAU Symposium in Durham toward discovery of life beyond Earth and its impact. And this was a really fantastic meeting, had broad content ranging from astrobiology of the origin of life all the way to the development of technology, the search for biosignatures, technosignatures, as well as the impact of that discovery, the societal impact. And so that was a fantastic meeting. The proceedings just came out about a month or so ago, and so you should definitely check that out. But there's been a number of other meetings, mostly focused on the astrobiology side of things in terms of origin of life and biosignatures. You know, we had the Origins meeting. There's another Origins meeting coming up this year, search for water and life's building blocks, bioastronomy. But now look down here, IAUS404. in 1984, this was the search for extraterrestrial life, recent developments. And as far as I can tell, this was actually the very first time that technosignatures, although the word had not entered the lexicon, but SETI was discussed enthusiastically by members of the IAU. And so here we have, hopefully you recognize some of the individuals in this picture. We have, Carl Sagan and Frank Drake, among others. In the bottom, Philip Morrison is receiving a plaque. This meeting was held 25 years after the paper he published with Cocconi, suggesting that radio signals might be a promising way to look for extraterrestrial communication. And so this meeting held, over 40 years ago now, it was really kind of a monumental meeting after a couple decades worth of SETI research, bringing together many, many experts from all over the world to talk about this. I mean, you look at the list of the Scientific Organizing Committee and the Local Organizing Committee. I mean, clearly many iconic names in the field. On the Local Organizing Committee, I didn't actually know that Stephen Jay Gould had been involved in SETI at all, which was kind of interesting. But this was held in Boston, and there's really quite a number of interesting papers here. And so you may have noticed we sent out an email digest already for day one. We're going to be featuring some historical throwbacks to some of the papers and ideas that were discussed at this first IAU meeting to think about extraterrestrial life and extraterrestrial technology. It's perhaps worth pointing out, interesting, we have one participant who was at both meetings. Jill Tarter was at IAUS404 in 1984. She has also registered for this meeting. I'm not sure if Jill is on now because it's very early over in the West Coast. So hopefully she'll see this recording. But I mean, I think this is great to have this connection point. There are other people who attended this 1984 meeting who are still active in the field. You see Woody Sullivan's name is here, Dan Wertheimer, and so there are several others. And so this is kind of, I thought, just a fun way of connecting, what has happened in the past with where we're at now. And certainly, I've had some fun already just digging through these papers, seeing just where have we come in that 40 some years. In some ways, we've come a long ways. And then in other areas, we're still talking about some of the same problems that we've been talking about. And so it's nice to get that historical perspective. But so on to this symposium. The purpose of the symposium is to advance the search for technosignatures. We invited all of you to submit abstracts on theoretical, instrumental, observational data analysis ideas for characterizing and detecting technosignatures. Our goal is to foster discussion on how we can advance the search by leveraging existing missions and data archives. Now, I put this here again just to emphasize that we had a very specific theme here. Now, of course, you're welcome to discuss anything broadly relating to technosignatures, but our goal in designing this was to be a little bit more focused rather than just a SETI festival or a technosignature festival where anything goes. Try to make this directed. We are in a new era now of big space telescopes, of expanding the search for technosignatures beyond radio only. There's a lot of data that's available, and there's a lot of computational tools for analyzing big data. And so what I would really like to see from this is new ideas for how we can actually make progress with the missions and data that we have and the ideas we have, new missions to be built. And so this is really forward-looking. Theory is obviously welcome, but very much we want to think about how we can actually advance the search for technosignatures in the coming decades. So this meeting is brought to you by a number of us, myself, Ravi Koparapu, Beatrice Villarol, Martin Dominic, George Profitiliotis, and Svetlana Berdugina. So we are your scientific organizing committee. You will see most of us at some point serving as a session chair. And then we have our, as this is an online meeting, we do not have a local organizing committee, but we have an online organizing committee because, as you can imagine, there's quite a bit of logistical work behind the scenes to keep the meeting operating smoothly. And so Graham Lau, you've probably been in contact with for your posters and other things already. And then we also have three fantastic students who've been helping us out: Kelly Dobbitz, Subsankar Palit, and CJ Bale. So thank you all very much. If you get an email from any of them, you'll just know that they're helping out with the technology, trying to make things work smoothly. And this is just a map showing the geographical distribution of the speaker and poster abstracts. I don't have one for the participants yet, but I will try to get one for the closing remarks so we can take a look at that. But, we did manage to just barely get all the continents. I think we do have some participants from Australia, no abstracts, but we have one from New Zealand. Obviously, like many topics in science, we're a little heavy in North America and Europe, but I mean, I think it's very exciting. We have South America, we have Asia, we've got, the Middle East. So this is a truly international meeting. And I will only just briefly say this is a space, I think, where we can hopefully just transcend the events of the day and maybe move beyond the things that are we obsess over in news and things like that. But I think it's worth just briefly mentioning, in 1984, IAUS404, there were members of the global SETI community that could not attend the meeting in Boston because of the Cold War. And so there were Russian scientists who contributed to the proceedings but could not attend in person due to the political situation. And I mention this only just, we live in a world of nation states competing. There are politics that are sometimes complicate our science, and so this still does happen today. I mean, I think there have been some people that were unable to participate due to some global affairs, but at the same time, I think we have significantly minimized that with the online format. And so I think that's something to be said, that given the state that the world is in at any time, a meeting like this is a really good way to provide that way for people to engage, whether it's just not having to pay for the travel and not need the funds for that, or the ability to connect on the internet when you might not otherwise have the support from either your institute or even your country at some time. So that's all I'll say about politics. But I think this is really exciting that we have a truly international meeting where we can all come together on common ground. We have a wide range of career stages here, a lot of university professors, but a number of grad students, government nonprofit scientists. We have retired folks, postdocs, so we span the range. So, this is also worth keeping in mind if you're a speaker, just thinking about who your audience is. We're all obviously here because we're interested in technosignatures, but we're at various stages of our research and what we've contributed to the field. Just logistics for the week. If you are here, you've already figured out how to get on Zoom. If you're watching the recording and you can't find your Zoom link, just please send us an email or send me a Slack message and we will get you your Zoom link. But these Zoom links are personalized. If you share it, it'll kick you out because you're only allowed to be logged in once per link. So it's a unique link for you that you'll use for the whole week. Slack is our primary mode of discussion, communication between sessions. I know not everybody likes Slack, so if you really hate Slack, that's fine. But we encourage you to use Slack just because with an online meeting, it's difficult otherwise to have these conversations. And I find if you lean into it, it can be a really fun way to even meet new people and have some really good conversations to follow up on the talks. And then finally, keep checking your email all week. We'll send email updates for speakers. We'll send email updates for special events. We will have daily digests to provide an overview of the events each day. And so, again, we're an online meeting, so I can't come and find you in the hallway. We can't congregate, in little meeting rooms, but this is what we have. And so I think we can make this work really well and have a lot of fun and make some good connections. So just a brief reminder that you have agreed to abide by the IAU Code of Conduct by being at this meeting. If you need a reminder, feel free to go to the website and look at it. If you have any concerns or questions, George Profitiliotis and Svetlana Berdugina are our contact individuals. You are welcome to reach out to them if you need to report an incident, if you have any questions or concerns regarding the Code of Conduct. And you can also use the form at anonymous.bmsis.org to provide any anonymous feedback regarding the code of conduct or anything else. So I do not anticipate having any issues, but this is here in case you need it, and so at least everybody has the information. The schedule, you've hopefully reviewed already, but just to go over it once more, it's a 5-day meeting, 4 full days. The 5th day is a half day. We have Atlantic and Pacific sessions. Note that we put the times in GMT. There was a little bit of confusion this morning by a couple of people. So GMT and then the other schedule shows some time zone conversions. But so we start at 1400, 2 p.m. GMT every day. And then the Pacific sessions start at 3 a.m. GMT. If you're in Europe and you want to come to the Pacific sessions, more power to you. But of course, we don't expect everybody to attend all the content. We will be recording the content as well and sharing it with everybody. And of course, visit the website for the most up-to-date version of the schedule. I don't anticipate any more changes, but just in case there are, we will always put the most up-to-date version on the website. Here's the schedule at a glance. On the left, you can see we've broken up the time zones. So find your closest time zone, and you can follow this schedule. This will be here again on the website all week long. And then you can click on the website for a much more detailed breakdown of the schedule with titles for everybody, links to posters, and all of that. The poster pop talk sessions will happen on March 4th and 5th. So this is day 3. We will have the signups coming later today. So if you're a poster presenter, keep an eye on your email for the link to sign up for your poster pops talk. And we will also have a student poster contest. We have 3 judges who've agreed to judge the student posters, and we will be announcing the winners of that during the closing talk as well. And so poster pop talks, for those of you who don't know, this is just an opportunity for the poster presenters to give a short 1 to 2 minute overview of their poster, and then we will have some time for questions as well. We have some special events that we're very excited about. So on day 2, George Profitiliotis will be leading a futures workshop. I highly recommend you attend all of these things. So, but that's definitely going to be a way to try to get outside of our usual way of thinking about technosignatures and try to think more broadly. There's the All World, All Times live action role play led by Tessa Fisher, Kate Genevieve, Angelica Kovacevic. This is on day 3 during the Atlantic session, and this looks like a lot of fun. I've only gotten a sneak preview of it. I've not participated in this yet, but this is really focused on post detection and thinking about how would we respond to an actual signal from extraterrestrial civilization that was detected. And then finally, on day 3, we have the Science Fiction Social Hour led by Andrew Fracknoy, which also looks like a lot of fun. So if you're a science fiction writer, a science fiction enthusiast, or a science fiction critic, you're welcome to come and share your thoughts about the intersection between the science we do and science fiction. And finally, we have a Meme Your Science contest and festival. So hopefully you are aware of what a meme is, being on the internet. If you're not, that's fine, you can learn. But memes are a really fun way to communicate science. Sometimes they can be useful. So we have a meme festival and competition. We ask you to post your entries in this meme channel, which actually I am going to add all of you to right now. And contest will close at the end of day 4. Memes will be judged by members of the online organizing committee. So you can go to the meme channel for a little bit more instructions on what to do, but this is supposed to be just a fun way to share your science. Think about, how would I distill this complex idea into something fun and understandable? And then finally, we have some articles from SciWorthy, our Blue Marble Space Science Explainer website. So we will have some SciWorthy articles featuring papers from this meeting coming out this week. And there's a survey by Dalia Bibas and Clement Vidal. You should have seen the link already in the Daily Digest, and we'll be promoting that as well. So feel free to participate in our survey. And so finally, just to close, I'm going to leave you with the look to the future from Michael Papagiannis from the 1984 Symposium. I thought this was really interesting. He's predicting, well, what's going to happen in the 21st century? Well, the building of large telescopes, interferometers to go from X-ray, UV visible IR. Maybe we'll have an array on the moon. We'll be able to detect infrared spectra in planets with a water signature, multi-channel spectrum analyzers will allow us to analyze entire microwave spectral region, laser pulses. So now, this is quite interesting. In some ways, yeah, we don't have arrays on the moon, but we do have multi-channel spectrum analysis. We are looking at spectra in planetary atmospheres. We're not quite at Earth-sized rocky planets yet, but we're getting there. And so I thought this was quite interesting that in 1984, their vision of the 21st century is maybe not so far off from where we are today. And so just with that in mind, thank you for being here. Let's have a fantastic symposium. I'm really looking forward to the talks. And we will turn things over to Svetlana and Sarah Seeger. So thank you so much.